Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson.
Control.
Everything you need to know about new and used cars.
Control.
Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air.
Control.
Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin.
Control.
Because you're on cruise control. Cruise control. Cruise control.
And welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Hello, everyone. I am Fred Staab, and also here, as always, is none other than Les Jackson. Les, how you doing this week?
Great. How are you, Fred? And I, for one, am really looking forward to some of our stories this week. I'm sure you know which ones.
Oh, yes, I do. And we're going to start, though, with an interesting bit of technology. We're going to analyze this. There's been a lot of talk online about it. GM says it's dropping Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in its vehicles since it's just too dangerous to distracting drivers. But could the move have more motivations besides that?
Gee, I wonder. We'll discuss that. But meanwhile, Kia prices out its Sportage plug-in hybrid and gets set to enter the electric commercial market with 5 new models. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's coming up at CES. Hard to believe it's time for CES again,
Wow.
coming up in a couple of weeks. So
Seems like yesterday.
it sure does. It sure does. And then over at Cadillac, they've announced another electric model, and it's a crossover, Les, called the Vistiq.
Another teak.
Another
name.
teak. Another
Well,
teak.
you know,
name.
it's consistent. It's not bad looking. We'll take our opinions on that. We're going to talk tech also. Our mobile electric vehicle chargers, the answer to the lack of charging infrastructure. Interesting idea.
Yeah, is that a flatbed with a diesel generator on it?
That's right. And a guy named Carl.
Okay.
He comes to your house, cash only.
Fires it off, yeah.
Fires it up.
Yeah, and good news if you're looking about buying a vehicle, the average transaction price for new vehicles is beginning to drop. How about that? I didn't think
Yay.
I would ever say that and again on Cruise Control.
Glad you did. A lot of people are glad.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we finally gotten out of the COVID and supply chain issues. Who knows? But hey, we will bring you up to date on all that and more when we get rolling on Cruise Control. And that's the show you dialed into. Later, I know the story you were talking about, Les.
Yep.
And basically, Tesla's recalling virtually every vehicle it's ever built. Pretty much.
That's going to be our special "We Told You So" session.
Big recall for autopilot, and we'll talk about that. Yeah, things are not that great in Muskville. He also lost out on a big contract on Starlink as well, his internet service. So I think he lost almost or didn't get $1 billion. It was something with rural service. So we will talk about that all coming up. Plenty to get to. New models.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. This is your on-air automotive magazine. As promised, Fred and I are going to get into this General Motors decision to drop Apple CarPlay and Android Auto for safety reasons. Okay, yes, you can certainly get distracted by these things, but you're the same person that's going to get distracted by everything else. But we'll go through this and at least get GM's official statements. How's that, Fred?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think we need more information on this, but this came from an interview with Tim Babbitt, who is head of product for infotainment at GM, and he spoke with Motor Trend. And I think it really got a lot of people talking because, as you know, they're a very loyal, probably the Apple people that use Apple products are very loyal to it, and they like Apple CarPlay.
Right.
And, of course, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are two of the systems that you can use. What's great about it is you get the Google navigation, so you can set this up ahead of time. I like to put addresses in ahead of time, and then I connect to Android Auto in my case, and it's ready to go. I don't have to punch it in. I don't have to try talking to the car. It's ready to go, and I just hit start. And that's one of my favorite things about Android Auto. And same for Apple CarPlay if you use that. You can just do it ahead of time, and you get right there, and it just says, hey, here's a destination. You want to go there? Start. So we know, we've talked about this, that sometimes connecting these things, and I think it's more the car's problem than the Android Auto, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but sometimes getting connected with these things is one of the biggest drivers in dissatisfaction in new cars. The infotainment system doesn't work well, right? We've talked about that a lot. J.D. Power, many others, right?
Yeah, and and a lot of it's non-specific. It's it doesn't work well, or it lags, or it drops out, or it's difficult to use. And I wonder, and I'm sure that's true for some number, but I kind of wonder how many people, when they put these into the car, take, whatever, a half hour and just really sitting in the driveway and get really familiar with it before jumping out on the road.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. I will tell you this, though. Recently, it has improved immensely. I can think of the Subaru Crosstrek. Wonderful, connects right away. Literally, it's wireless. I have my phone in my pocket, and the navigation system comes right up. I don't even have to put it on the charger. And to me, that worked very well. I couldn't ask for it to work better. And then some other manufacturers, like Volvo, have put Google built into the car. So Google is actually in the car. So I'm wondering if this is what GM's talking about. They're talking about their own system, but it may be Google built in that they're talking about putting in there.
Yeah, that would make sense, the most sense.
And that's nothing unique. They might be branding it in a different way, but it's nothing unique. Volvo has it. Some other manufacturers have it. But this got people talking, and it brought back another issue that we've talked about. Not only are they losing these Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but GM wants to make you pay for this. And so it's back to the subscription. Remember, BMW did this or tried it with heated seats and some other features. Mercedes does it with rear steering. And car makers want that revenue stream after the fact. You buy the car, and then they don't see you from anywhere from 3 years to 15 years. Yeah.
Well, but also these fee-for-service systems just aren't really doing well.
Right.
in the marketplace. And certainly GM knows one thing. They know how to market stuff.
Yeah.
So I wonder about this.
They're looking to make $25 billion a year from
Good.
subscriptions. Plus,
well, so am I, but I can't.
Plus, remember, if you use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, either Apple or Google gets to sell your information. Here, your data.
Yep.
Here, GM would also have that as a revenue stream. So it's an issue that's interesting, and some people feel they would not buy a GM car if it didn't have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. It's gotten pretty heated, and we will follow this issue on on Cruise Control. So stay tuned to Cruise Control. Fred Staab, Les Jackson. We will be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Just one more point on removing Android Auto and Apple CarPlay from GM products. Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, said this week, no, our customers like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so we're just going to be keeping them in there and not taking them out of the vehicle. So it's interesting how the game is played. But I don't get between people and their cell phone. That's what I'm thinking. Might be the best place.
Yes. People are, the majority of people are addicted to their cell phones. And you better not try to change it.
Well, and one more point on this. I used to think, why would you need why would you need Apple CarPlay or Android Auto if you have a navigation system? But now I use the Android Auto because, as I say, I know what it is. I get the same results every time. It takes me the same route, and I also can set it up before I get into the car, and I can, look at my route on my computer screen, and then there it is. I save it, and then I connect, and there it is in my car, and it's
Couldn't
ready
be more
to go.
convenient.
Yeah, and wireless makes it even better. It's in my pocket. I sit in the car, boom, it comes up on the screen, and it works great. So, anyway, let's go on to our next story, which was about the Kia Sportage, and some good news for the Kia Sportage. It got the top safety pick, Les Jackson.
It did.
Yeah, IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus Award. It's equipped with specific headlights. Remember, a lot of manufacturers are doing away with the halogen headlights and going to LED, even on their base models, because that will get you this Top Safety Pick Plus. And that's what Kia did with the Sportage. It's the Kia's longest running nameplate, which is interesting. And it also aced the nighttime vehicle-to-pedestrian front crash prevention test, which is a new addition to the Top Safety Pick Plus criteria. So there you have it. Now,
That's cool.
Now, also talking about the Kia Sportage, we're going to talk about some pricing on the plug-in hybrid model, which is a pretty interesting piece of technology. Of course, it gets in the 30s and is available on the X-Line all-wheel drive and X-Line Prestige. The X-Line all-wheel drive, the X-Line is their kind of off-roady, a little bit raised up, a little bit more robust version. Starts at $39,490. And then the X-Line Prestige all-wheel drive goes for $43,990. Combined fuel economy numbers, we don't have the actual highway or city, but combined numbers are 35 for this vehicle, which is not bad, is it?
That's not bad. So probably as much as 40 on the road.
I would say. Nice size vehicle. A lot of standard features as per normal for Kia. And, of course, plug-in hybrid is a great way to go nowadays to get the good fuel economy and then have incredible range. I don't know if we have the range of this. By the way, towing capacity with trailer brakes is 2,000 pounds, which is pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah, that's decent.
Yeah, you can tow small trailer with that or boat or something like that. Yeah, we don't have a lot of information, but just the pricing on that, which you think about it, Les Jackson. I always tell people if a car is $30,000 roughly, if you want the hybrid model, it will be $35,000. If you want the plug-in hybrid model, it will be closer to $40,000. And that's kind of my rule of thumb. Does that work for your calculator in your head?
I think that's a reasonable standard because it obviously costs more money to make a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid than it does the basic vehicle.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about doing an at-the-wheel review a little bit later on Cruise Control of the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. So that was an interesting one. Big vehicle to be a plug-in hybrid, and I believe it was the first plug-in hybrid SUV, full-size SUV sold in the U.S. So interesting stuff. But I also tell people, like we have friends that just bought a hybrid Hyundai, and he's like, should I get the plug-in hybrid or the hybrid? I said, you don't really have great way to plug it in. So I would just stick with the hybrid.
Yeah,
And that's what he
if
did.
you don't have a panel where you plug it in, then it's not a plug-in.
He lives kind of on top of a hill, and parking is down on the street level, and there's no electricity down there. So that's what I said. Probably better, to not have the extension cord running out, or
Right.
So, but he's very happy with it. He's very happy with it. So, let's talk a little tech, shall we? You have
Let us do that.
You have a story on mobile electric chargers, and no, this is not what I said was a flatbed with a diesel generator on it, right?
No. Yeah, because basically, right now, and I don't know, I like to equate the EV charging infrastructure with the gasoline charging infrastructure of the late 1920s.
Okay.
Where it was stations were beginning to show up, but it would be really until more or less the end of the 30s before they were everywhere.
Yeah, and back then you couldn't jump on an app and say, "Where's my closest gas station?"
You could. So we have about 50,000 public charging stations around the country right now. That compares with 145,000 gas stations.
Yeah.
So there's where we are.
Yeah.
Um, and this idea, which I don't know, I'm intrigued with this, with the idea of a mobile charging station,
Yep.
but I don't know quite how it would work.
Well,
Because where are they coming to you, or are they?
Well, there's a couple of ideas. One company has this thing that looks like a tractor trailer box that they take off the wheels and they sit there, which that would be more of a kind of a long-term solution. I thought, what if you had a big event and a lot of people were going to drive electric cars there? You could bring these things, but way heavy weight has to be transported by a tractor trailer. I guess a crane has to drop it off the back of the tractor trailer, and it's a big contraption. Now, there's another company that has something called Ziggy, which is a autonomous. This is Ziggy is currently being developed by a Los Angeles-based startup, EV Safe Charge, and it's a robot designed to operate in parking lots and garages, and it can be reserved with an app, and it is an autonomous robot. It finds your vehicle, it reads the license plate, and then it charges your vehicle. Now, we don't know how it does that. I mean, it doesn't have an arm on it that opens your flap and connects you.
Can't imagine that.
But it is a small autonomous robot. They even showed it with advertising on the side to make money. Like it's just a box on wheels that rolls around. And then there's some other ideas too, which we'll talk about when we come back. The technology, mobile EV chargers. Actually, I've seen some AAA trucks with mobile EV chargers, a big battery and a connector on the back.
Just a quick charge.
Hey, we'll be right back with Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Stay tuned.
Cruise control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Back on the charging issue, mobile charging, Fred, there are some ideas that businesses are throwing out, and it really seems, well, at least from a practical point of view, I think some of them are workable. Now, can they make money? I don't know. Like
it's
AAA, they've rolled out roadside assistance. Well, that makes sense. It's AAA.
right. And they're the same kind of looking trucks that they come and help you if you've got a flat tire or a dead starter battery.
Yeah, and you're not, it's just enough, like maybe 10 or 15 or 20 miles worth of driving.
Yeah. Well, they do that for gas, too. The same
Sure.
thing. Like, they're not going to fill your tank. They'll say, hey, here's 5 gallons to get you down the road, and there's a gas station. So, well, there's another setup, a shareable mobile charger for airports and apartment houses. It sort of looks like a box on wheels, and it is based on this company called Spark Charge, the Roadie Portable. It can fit in the back of an EV and can supply up to 20 kilowatts of power and provide 14 hours of power with additional battery units. The units are customizable, and they had a picture of it. It sort of looks like, what can I say? Sort of like a box with a handle on it. So I don't know how you could lift it into the EV. It certainly seems like it might be a bit heavy to lift up into an EV. I don't know.
They must charge a lot of money per kilowatt hour to charge your battery, though.
Yeah, I would think so.
Because you can't afford to own all this stuff.
No, or I guess these are things that you would subscribe to, and but I just don't think we're there yet with that.
No.
I mean, the big thing I think that will happen that will reduce the need for chargers, as you and I have talked about, or cut down the number of chargers, is the solid-state batteries. We know that is not going to happen as soon as we thought. 600, 700 miles of range, recharge in 10 minutes. You don't have to, you can, if you have 700 miles of range, you can let it go down to 200 and then charge it. So that means You're charging less often.
There's no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure to do it. So I think that will help. I think more people having charging systems in their home will help. But, bringing a tractor trailer and a crane somewhere and offloading this.
Yeah, I just don't see the business plan there.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to haul that crane there on another flatbed truck. You've got to get the tractor trailer. It seems like a lot of work, doesn't it?
You'll be charging $100 to charge the car for 10 miles.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what the business model is. I think they're still figuring it out. But, if you could in the future have some kind of super battery that's the size of a car battery and you could put it in your trunk and it's like a jump pack for an electric car, that would be great. Someday. It's a box with a charging handle on it. Maybe that's the future. Who knows? I mean, I know for powering equipment in the field, a lot of people use these new batteries, and they have a small solar cell, but now they're just running things on 13.8 volts and that communication radios and things like that. That's fine. That's fun. And it runs it for 3 or 4 hours. But if you could get something that could, give you like an emergency 10 miles of charge, maybe that would be good if they came up with something like that.
Yeah.
Available now on Amazon, $39.99.
Absolutely. This will all sort itself out in the next 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
There'll be some very clever solutions.
Yeah. I think so. So, hey, you're listening to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. We're running the stories down. Let's talk about Cadillac. Okay, we did that. No,
Well,
we don't have a lot of information on this, but it is
we
called.
don't have a lot. We know the name. It's Vistiq.
Yeah, it's going to fit between the Lyriq and the Escalade IQ in the lineup.
Right.
Um,
It looks like a miniature version of the Escalade.
Yep, and this is the 5th EV announced by Cadillac. This is a 2026 model. Might be the first one that we've ever showed on the show.
Yeah, you're right. Well, because we have the 2025 Optique
Yes.
that we talked about a few weeks ago.
Obviously, this is buildable. Door handles, got the Tesla door handles.
Sure.
It's got the or Dave Kendig door handles. I guess who came up with them first, Tesla or Dave Kendig?
I don't know.
But they sure look like Dave Kendig's, don't they? From
they definitely do.
If you're familiar with that Motor Trend show, yeah.
Absolutely. We know they work.
Yeah.
So.
It'll be like the car comes with it. What do? I can't add them to them. And full-size rear view mirrors. So this one's ready to go. But as has become the norm, these things get announced, and they're announced way in the future. This 2026 model, that means it can't go on sale till, October of 2025, right?
Actually, no, it would have to be January. Oh, no, sorry, it's the 26th, October of 25, right.
Yeah, so that's a ways away. A ways away.
Yeah, it seems like a ways away, but it always seems to come up tomorrow.
Yes. As you can tell, they have sort of a two-step lighting set up in the back, which appears to be the new kind of design standard for Cadillacs. They got the taillights, 2 sets of taillights, little family truckster-like. Remember the family truckster?
Yeah. Oh, how can you forget the family truckster?
I have to say it, my favorite line of all time. If you think you hate it now, wait till you drive it.
That's right.
That's my favorite sales line ever, So, anyway, let's talk about some good news, and that is the average sales transaction price. You and I have seen this climb. When we first started doing the show, what was the average? 25,000? What do you think? That was a long time ago.
It was about 25, maybe 22 and a half.
Yeah, okay.
And then a few years later it crossed 30, and that was a big deal.
Right. Remember when entry-level luxury was 35,000? That
35.
That was like a Cadillac CTS. They called that entry-level luxury, and it was 35,000. Well, according to Kelley Blue Book, the average transaction price has fallen again, and fallen lower than the year over year in the past 3 months. This is the only time in the past decade that the monthly new vehicle average transaction prices did not increase year over year. Now, this is stunning because I thought it was around 45,000. But in fact, the average price of a new vehicle in November of 2023 was up to $48,247. That's an increase of less than 1% month over month. For electric vehicles, the prices rose slightly in November to $52,345, up from a revised $51,715 in October. Now, in recent months, price parity between EVs and internal combustion vehicles has almost seemed possible that it might happen, but when we keep seeing these vehicles for $80,000 and that is at the high end. By the way, too, you can get a lot of vehicles for a lot less than $48,000.
Yes, you can. You have about 309 makes and models in the American market to choose from. So, do some homework.
Yeah, do some homework. There's a lot in the $30,000 to $40,000 range.
Yeah,
So
a lot.
yeah, we're going to look at some of these numbers from Kelley Blue Book when we come back on Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. We are glad you're with us on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Stay tuned.
Cruise control.
And we're back, still on average transaction prices because we like the good news that you can actually buy your vehicles now for MSRP or less.
Yeah. Yeah.
In some cases, especially in cases. Kelly Blue Book gave a percentage decline over last year. Tesla's 20% down.
Yeah, well,
That's a lot.
they had that big price cut, right? He's switching
That's right.
switching
Buick is
from
down.
premium to mass production.
Exactly. Buick's down 6.4%. Land Rover 6%. Nissan 5.7%. That's kind of a trend. Increases in very few cases. Dodge 11%, Ram 10%, Audi 7.8, and GMC 7.8.
By the way, that's at Dodge. It's everyone buying the last chance Challengers and Chargers.
Right.
But
right. And the luxury share is up 20%, but we're not talking about luxury share at the moment. We're just talking about normal people here.
Yeah.
This is good news. That theoretically means you can go to the dealership and do a mental 6% drop in the price and say, there you are. That's what I'm offering.
Yeah, that's it. And remember, folks, if it's not what you want, just say, well, I'll go somewhere else. That's all you have to do. Yeah, you don't have to get into an argument. Just say, no, that's more than I wanted to pay. Thank you. Thank you for your time. And here comes a little puppy trailing after you, right?
Oh, listen, they'll follow you all the way out to your car. I promise that they will. And just say, look, if I'm not spending more than this.
Right. And I want this.
You want to sell it to me? Sell it. If you don't.
And don't charge me for all the stick-on chrome add-ons that you jammed
That's right.
in. Yeah. By the way, too, you don't have to buy cars with that stuff on it. Then you order it. You say, well, then I'll order it.
Order it.
And then that may make them say, like, well, maybe I'll drop, I'll cut the price of the, the furry floor mats, in half or something. Say, I didn't want all that crap. That's your fault you put it on, right?
Exactly. But remember, if you order it, the dealer gets an extra allocation of vehicles that they ordinarily didn't get.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't cost them anything in their floor plan, the costs of keeping those vehicles
because you're gonna pick it up when it comes in. It's not gonna.
You're gonna pick it up, so you can deal on these things.
Yeah. I think it's always important to come in. Don't be excited about any cars. Oh my gosh, look at how great it looks in red. I always say if you want red, and there's a red one there, say, well, I really wanted the black. I guess I could do red. I don't know. Not really a fan of the red. And just be generally unhappy. And not excited. Have no just be like, it's okay, I guess,
Be a curmudgeon.
Be a curmudgeon. I didn't want that one. Meanwhile, you're saying under your breath, wow, that's exactly the one I wanted.
Yeah, that's
right
precisely what I've wanted.
And it looks good. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. And give them nothing. Give them nothing as far as information, like my lawyer friends say. Answer questions, but don't give any additional information. You don't have to say, my name is, and, oh, by the way, so you just tell them what they ask for. So,
for you and me, that doesn't work because they know instantly that we test and review vehicles and we know more than they do about them.
Yes. Well, at that point, they should just say, okay, let's just come up with a price and save everyone's time.
That's right.
I don't need the song and dance. Well, you may not get an incentive on this. This is a hydrogen-powered mine truck. This is the these mining trucks. By the way, Les, these gigantic dump trucks. They're basically built at the location of the mine, right? And they spend their whole life at that mine, and they're probably scrapped there, right? Well, GM is teaming up with Komatsu on a hydrogen fuel cell powered mining truck. And they say that this is Komatsu's 930E electric drive mining truck in its ultra class haul truck category. They are building a hydrogen hydrotech powered mining vehicle, fuel cell, to generate electricity for this. And I don't know how big that powertrain is. It's hard to tell. But this is exciting stuff, isn't it?
It is. I think some of those trucks, all of the trucks have diesel power presently, but I believe most of them are running big electric motors.
Yes, they're like a locomotive. They're diesel electric.
Yeah.
But I love this powertrain here. As I say, I don't know how big it is. It's hard to tell. But this would be a wonderful generator for a home. Or as I said, a small power plant that is located in your neighborhood, but you wouldn't even know it's there because it won't be loud. Yeah. There won't be fumes. You just have to get it hydrogen.
There are actually plans. Europe has infrastructure plans, as does the U.S. and Canada, for future local generating stations just like that.
Imagine
the trick is the hydrogen.
What if you generate your own power at everyone's house? They have their own generating power plant, but they just have hydrogen supplied to it by a pipe.
That will happen. That will happen. But there will have to be actually a hydrogen infrastructure, just like the natural gas. It's perfectly viable.
Yeah, interesting thought there. But I love the space of that fuel cell. And
you ever been near one of those trucks?
I don't think so. I don't think I've actually.
I was near one once at some exposition. Those ladders. I mean, you are climbing big, tall stairs to get up into those things. They're enormous.
Wow!
It's like going into a 2-story house.
I tell you, I'd like to try driving one. That would be fun.
I would too. I'd love it.
It need a big space though. I'm not I can't back out with it. I don't back out of a parking spot, with somebody behind me.
Well, you just drive over them.
Sounds like that would have been a good grand tour concept. Just take it to the local supermarket.
Yeah. Those wheels are about 12 feet tall.
Ah, wow.
All right, it's just the size of these things is staggering.
So it literally comes in on numerous flatbeds and is delivered to the work site, and it just stays there. You're not going to drive it back to the shop to get some maintenance done on it.
No.
Wow, that is pretty cool. That is definitely cool. So, here's another interesting article. L.A. Sheriff's Department still has 429 Crown Victoria patrol cars. They ordered 600 cars right before the end of production, and they have the most Ford Crown Victoria patrol cars still in service. L.A. Sheriff's Department. Interesting stuff. Hey, we appreciate you listening to Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.
Bye.